If you're getting on sales calls, it's because you are telling your audience that you do sales calls. I never say to my audience, let's get on a call. I say to my audience, my DMs are open.
You've been in our elite level mastermind for, is it 4 years now?
4 years, yeah.
4 years. So you know what the program's like. You know the cost of the program. Could I really sell that without getting on sales calls?
I bet you could sell every single spot in that mastermind next year through the DMs without ever getting on a sales call and just doing voice memos.
I would give anything. Because my biggest limiting belief is that to make that decision, somebody needs to get on and see my charisma and let me problem solve a couple things for them.
I didn't get on a sales call with you.
Interesting. So it's really just a big limiting belief.
Totally. We're going to bust it.
Welcome, everybody, to the Chris Harder Show, where we are making you unapologetic about your pursuit of success, knowing that when good people like you make good money, they can then do great things. My name is Chris Harder, and several times per week, I will bring you epic guests, solo episodes, and every single tool, trick, and skill set you need to grow your business, grow your money mindset, and to grow your wealth to levels that you have never reached before. I've ended up in a unique place in life where I've got the experience, the connections, and all of the secrets that it takes to be successful. And I'm lifting the curtain to reveal it all to you in an effort to help put you in a position of abundance so great that you can then be as generous as possible. So let's lock arms and let's get started.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Chris Harder Show. You are in for a treat today because both Lori and I are sitting down with one of our friends and one of the members in our elite entrepreneur mastermind, the Jillian Murphy, who is an absolute sales boss, literally, of anyone I can think of. One of the greatest at teaching and explaining sales and making you just unapologetic and so skilled when it comes to sales that I can think of. She is a boss. Now, in this episode, we're going to go through the different unique ways to sell in today's market because you've probably noticed selling on social media has really changed. So Jillian's going to help you through that, including sharing some special language and some psychology that you can use. She's going to break down the 4 main types of buyers. It's very important for you to understand who you're selling to, and then how to sell each one of those buyer types. This alone will make you at least twice as good at selling than you are right now. We're going to go over everybody's favorite, overcoming objections, and then we're going to get into her absolute specialty, which is selling in the DMs. Jillian is probably the best person I know when it comes to teaching how to sell in the DMs and close in the DMs without sales calls and a cumbersome funnel and everything else. An absolute champ at that. And I think that is one of the most important parts of this episode that you're going to take away. Now, the cool thing about Jillian is this. She is not only in our elite level mastermind, which is for all the businesses that are 500 grand and up. Most of them are 7 and 8 figure businesses, but she is also one of the one-on-one coaches in our mastermind for businesses that is 50 grand to 500,000 called the Mentor Collective Mastermind. And the reason why that's really important is if you're a member of that mastermind, you're able to go in and ask Jillian questions directly, and she will answer and coach you through them. So if you've got a question like, hey, this person said this to me in the DMs, how would you close them? You can put that in the sales room, and within 24 hours, she'll go in and answer that question for you so that you get it right. And she's just one of many expertise coaches that we have in that program. Now, here's why I mention that. We open that program very selectively. We make sure that the number of coaches to number of members always scales perfectly. And so we are able to take just 30 new members coming up in September for this program. Remember, this is the one if you have a business that's 50,000 to 500,000. And it is, members' words, not mine, members' words, the best, most supportive mastermind out there. Because not only do you get one-on-one coaches, unlimited coaching from them by being able to ask them your individual questions, but Lori and I jump on and mentor you for a couple hours every other week as a group. We answer your questions about your business. And then every other week, so there's literally a call every single week. Every other week, you're learning from one of our coaches or even from each other. Like we have dialed this in through the years to literally make it the most supportive mastermind on the planet. And we're adding a really cool feature. We've hired and trained accountability coaches to reach out to you every single week and ask what you need to accomplish and then follow up to make sure you accomplished it. And if you didn't, point you in the right direction in order to make sure you accomplish it this next week. And a lot of people, you got the skill set, you got the intent, you got the vision, but you don't have the accountability. And that is going to be one of the best. It takes this thing from the best mastermind to the absolute most untouchable mastermind on the entire planet, but can only support 30 new members because we scale it carefully because it's so hands-on. So if you want to join this thing right now, hit pause and go over to chrisharder.me/mentor and get on the wait list right away, because it's going to be like a fight to get one of these 30 spots. The wait list is already hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, and don't let that deter you. Let you be the person who says, I'm setting my alarm clock for when this link gets sent out in September. And the only way you're going to know that information is by being on the wait list. So seriously, right now, hit pause, go to chrisharder.me/mentor and put yourself on the wait list. It's chrisharder.me.me/mentor and put yourself on the wait list. And then get right back to this episode, because Jillian is going to double, triple, maybe quadruple your sales skill within 1 hour.
Jillian, welcome to the podcast.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here, so excited to be in your home studio and to be pouring into both of your guys' community today.
This is so much fun because you are not only on the Earn Your Happy podcast, but we are also doing a shared episode
on the Chris Harder Show
with my husband as well.
I'm really actually super excited because Jillian is one of the absolute top people that I know out there when it comes to not just sales, but communicating in a way that gets you what you want. And that's really what sales is, right? How do you communicate in a way that a person can receive it and take an action that you want them to take? And nobody teaches that better, especially like closing in the DMs and how to even start the conversation. And I don't know what to say, so do you have a template for me? Nobody does that better than our really good friend, Jillian. So Jillian, we're going to crush it today. We're going to talk about everything. People are going to be sales ninjas by the end of this thing.
I'm obsessed.
But I want to start here. I want the most basic definition from you on how you define sales and why it's important.
Yeah, I think this is such a great question. Thank you for teeing the podcast up that way. Sales truly to me is the foundation of your business. If you don't understand sales, you don't understand what to do, you're not comfortable with it, you feel salesy, you feel sleazy, you feel icky, everything else that you're doing is literally not going to matter. You can build the best funnel, have the best opt-in, create the best mastermind, the best retreat. But if you cannot get people to pull out their credit cards and pay in full, it always comes to a stop.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like sales this year has been tougher.
Yeah.
All of our friends, all of our peers, people who are way ahead of us, people who are behind us, everybody's reporting the same thing. Like, wait a minute, it feels like it's tougher to sell right now. What are you seeing and why is that?
Yeah, so it's a really great question. So I think one of the biggest things right now with people saying it's an uncertain market is you first have to ask yourself, like, what are you listening to? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Because you can go on Instagram or you can go on LinkedIn or you can go on TikTok and you can see that people are still buying. So number one, like change your mindset and say like, I'm not going to be in this tough water during an uncertain market. So I wake up every single day and I like joke that I think that every single person that follows me is like Oprah and they have Oprah money and they're like ready to freaking buy. So
I love that.
Just like change your energy every day around it. I think that's the biggest thing. And then you have to sell differently in an uncertain market, right? People aren't just buying because they have extra cash laying around. They're buying because they really need solutions. So you have to be so clear and so concise of exactly what you're doing. Then they know that you're the solution to the problem. But like content that's a little bit more woo or doesn't really make sense or it's a little more airy and fluffy, people aren't making sales in those positions right now.
I don't want to sleep on what you just said. People aren't buying because they have extra cash sitting around. People are buying because they need a solution to a problem they have. So even when there's not cash, they're going to find the cash if you can actually do a good job of selling.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, I think, the biggest thing that people don't realize is people will find resources, right? You go to the mall in Scottsdale right now. You guys have friends right here around. Like everyone still has the funds. They're just choosing what to allocate it to. So you have to be the person that's showing up and being like, I absolutely help you sell. You know, I'm super fortunate. I have not really felt an uncertain market right now. And it's because I solve a problem that the market is having. So you also need to shift your message to what's happening in the market. So a lot of my messaging is like, if you're having a hard time selling in a down market, if people aren't buying as normal as they once were. So you can't use the same content and the same messaging that you always use in a different market.
I love this because today we are going to break down all of the expectations around selling as far as what people think it is and how much it takes for people to convert. I think that's a huge one. in just how much trust that you have to build and what that looks like. So I'm so incredibly excited for this conversation today because I think most of what is even holding people back is they have a really false expectation around sales and that it's going to be easier.
Yeah.
People should just know what they're talking about or
Yeah.
that they think they're being clear.
Yeah.
And it's insane how much Chris and I have to put into sales training all the time. And when we listen to you, we learn something new every single time because you really have an art to being in these conversations as much as you do. You learn so much because you really are in these conversations every day, hundreds of conversations, sometimes thousands if we're talking about the people that you help, if you're really looking at how many conversations you're having. And you guys, this becomes a technique that you can absolutely do. Like I was not a born salesperson at all. And through network marketing and just different things that I learned, I really learned how to become amazing at it. So I believe anybody listening, if you're like, I'm nervous, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I feel like you are proof in the way that you speak, in the people that you have helped and taught. You are proof that anyone can do this and completely change their life through sales. And I think it's probably the most important thing that we can learn because you can insert anything if you know how to do this.
Yeah. It's so true. And I think too, like most people when I think about sales, they're like, oh, I want a script or I want a framework or I have a template. Like I have a client right now, I'm working with a one-on-one client and she just keeps asking for scripts. She keeps asking for templates. And I'm like, this is the thing. You don't sell the same way as my extroverted Evan sells. You don't sell the same way as I do. So when I work with people, especially one-on-one, it's like, what is their zone of genius? If they're really good speaking, we try to get them on podcast to get their message across. If they're terrible speakers, it's like, I never want them on a podcast. Go write an email, go write a blog. So you have to really look at each client that you're working with and their strong suit and be like, what's good? I don't want every one of my clients doing face to camera reels. Not everybody's good speaking. They're not clear and concise. So it's like, what can we do with each one specifically that also fits their personality type?
Yeah.
That's good.
So how would you define sales for everybody listening?
Yeah, I would define sales as one is the oxygen of your business. It's truly the foundation of everything that you do. And it is what generates cash into your business. Like if you are right now listening to this podcast and you are struggling with sales, challenged with sales, not making sales, it's because you haven't mastered the art of doing it. And I always say too, like if you want to get into a mastermind or you want to get into a retreat or you want to get into your guys' collective, like whatever that is, and you don't have the funds, sales is the number one thing you need to learn because sales creates income in your bank account. That's like the best thing. Like every single time I make an investment, I'm like, I can make that back. I can go create money. I can go create cash out of thin air because I'm good at sales.
There's not a single business on earth that exists without sales being important to it. But if you asked, I'm just going to guess, went up the street, 10 people, I bet 7, maybe 8 would say they get the ick from sales. So explain that juxtaposition. Everybody knows you need it to have any business in the world. Hell, I wouldn't own a single thing in the world unless somebody sold it to me.
No.
Yet 8 out of 10 people are going to be like, oh, I get the ick from it.
Yeah. So I think it's such a great question because so many people have to go back to like their roots of like why they have a bad feeling with sales, right? So maybe they went into a grocery store as a child and they wanted a piece of candy or a piece of gum and their mom was like, hey, we can't afford that. So they already aren't in like an abundance mindset, or they've grown up like needing more and not having more. So it's usually rooted somewhere different. Or they've been sold in a way that doesn't feel good to them and they think that's how they have to sell. So maybe they were in a luxury shoe store or they were in a car dealership or whatever it was. And they were like, ooh, sales doesn't feel good. It just didn't feel good for how that person delivered it.
Totally.
I've got to ask, do you have a story growing up or anything that had an imprint on you where you're like, oh, that was a really icky feeling with sales?
Yeah. So it's funny. I don't have an icky feeling of sales, but I always tell this story. I'm from Detroit and we went to this Eastern market every single Saturday. And there's all these booths out front and there's all these vendors, thousands of vendors. And I'm walking by and I don't even like cinnamon rolls. Like I'm not a fan of cinnamon rolls. And this guy was like, I have the world's best cinnamon rolls. You have to come over here. And he sold me on these cinnamon rolls. This cinnamon roll was $14. I literally bought it. And I was just remembered that like when you are so excited about your product, and you were so obsessed with it, other people feel that energy. I bought something I didn't really want. I bought something I didn't really need, but I bought it because he was so bought in on it. And the other thing is, a lot of people love to be sold to. I love to be sold to. If I'm walking into a car dealership or I'm walking into the mall or I'm walking into a boutique, I want someone to sell me.
Me too.
I love it.
I love the experience. Like
I love it.
When you come across a master at their craft, I have fun with that. I like being pulled into their process and kind of dissecting it as we go through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, I would pay $100 for a cinnamon roll.
I'll bring you one.
Oh my God. When somebody's got the right flow and they give you space and they're there to help you with all of the details and all of your questions, it makes it a really fun, beautiful, and helpful experience.
Yeah.
It's such a dance, but when somebody just nails that, it's like you want to go back to them for the rest of that purchasing, you know, history, whatever you're going to do. I feel like we experience this all the time with car people because you're a big car person.
Yep.
And I'll always just be like, no, we literally, like, we can't work with this person. Like, I need somebody who's going to give us a little space. Like, you have to really feel that out. Like, how long did that take for you to just do that dance back and forth?
Yeah. So my corporate career, I worked in a male-dominated industry. I worked for a food service distribution company, and I was the only female hired in our organization since 1963.
Wow.
So when I came into the organization, I was not one of them. I didn't look like them. I didn't act like them. I didn't feel like them. And I started to get in cars with all these veteran salesmen.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I hate the way they're selling. They're so pushy. They're not asking any questions. They're like, buy my stuff. This is on sale. And I'm like, why is nobody like talking to these business owners? Why is nobody asking them what they want? So I really started to change the way in which I sold, and I skyrocketed to the top of our organization, to the point that when I left our organization 4.5 years ago, you know, I was the top sales trainer. I was doing all the sales trainings. I was leading a team of 217 men because they needed to be trained differently, because it really is about what the client needs. You know, people ask me all the time, how quickly can you guarantee me sales results? I can never guarantee you sales results because people buy when they're ready. They don't buy when you have a launch. They don't buy when you have something on sale. They buy when they're ready. So you have to be patient with people. So I have a question. Do you guys buy differently or do you guys buy the same?
Ooh, this is a great question. Okay. I buy emotionally. I'm an emotional buyer.
Same.
I buy for the dopamine hit. I buy because it gives me a feeling or an experience of like reward or thrill. I don't really need much, but when I buy, it's because I'm looking for that experience.
Yeah, I'm definitely an emotional buyer. Like I'm in or I'm out, and like there's no amount. There's really not a big amount of convincing. I'll sit back and listen to what they have to say, gather my own data and decide. It's very rare that I'll need like a call or anything like that. It's I definitely am someone who can go gather the data.
Yeah.
What are you?
I'm a dominant buyer, 100%. I've never gotten on a sales call with somebody to buy a program or a mentorship or even anything. I mean, even Chris, I've invested, you know, for the last 4 years with you. And it's like, I've never had to like read a sales page. I've never had to do it because what I know is like what I'm searching for. The content speaks to the problem that I have. And then I'm like, okay, he's the person. And I also ask myself, do I genuinely like this person before I invest in them? That is a like massive question that I ask myself. Like, could we be friends in real life? Could we go to brunch? Could we be stuck in a kayak together? And if those, we're going on a kayak, Chris. Yeah. So if those things couldn't work, then like, it doesn't matter how good of a coach they are. We're just like not energetically aligned.
What kind of buyers are there out there? Like, categorize them for me.
Tell me.
Yeah. So there's actually 4 main type of buyers. Number 1 is analytical. I call it like analytical Anna. Analytical.
Is this Nick? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
This might be Nick. This is 100% Nick. It's usually the engineers, the doctors, the data drivers, the tech
Virgos.
people, Virgos. I'm a Virgo too, which is funny. But all of those type of people, they want all the details. You can't give them enough. They're going to need more time to think about it. They're going to need time to research it. They're going to go and do all this thinking. Like, that is them. And the best thing you can do with an analytical Anna is actually give them more space. Because what we think is like, okay, do you have any more questions? Do you need anything? But they're trying to process it. And they're never going to be people that buy on the spot. So the best thing you can do is like give them their space. Great line you guys can take from this podcast is if somebody says like, hey, I think I need a week to think about this, you should be like, perfect. I love that you want to think about this. I'm actually going to give you about 10 days, few extra days inside of there, and I'll check back with you in 10 days. Because then their sales resistance is like totally down.
So
we should call it analytical, because these are the
Nick,
people
you're
that are so anal about all the details.
Yeah.
They get in their own way.
Yeah. So that's a main buyer. And people think they're actually really hard to sell to. They just want information, right? But if you're a dominant seller, like I'm a dominant seller, these people can be frustrating because they have a lot of questions and you're like, let's just freaking go, right? So that's why even like we can talk about it later, like why I sell in the DMs versus calls, because your personality type really needs to match. So then there's like driver Diane, dominant Diane. She is someone who is usually a little egotistical. She knows what she wants. She wants to run the sales call. And this is he or she's. They want to run the sales call. They know what they want. They're driven and they're just like, hey, take me to what I want.
I might be a dad.
Yeah. I literally we recently just bought some furniture and the same thing. I walked in, the guy was like, hey, can I help you? I'm like, I'm looking for a big comfy couch that I can take a nap in, that it's cream. Please walk me over to it. He literally walked me over to it. He's like, do you want an ottoman? I'm like, yes, add an ottoman. He's like, this is the easiest sale I've made all month. I'm like, because you literally listened to what I want, took me exactly to it, and I purchased on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. This is you, babe. What'd you call this one?
Dominant driver.
Okay.
This is me.
Sometimes it gets to a point where I'm a little bit embarrassed. Or, like, let's say we're house shopping. Lori will, they set these appointments. It takes forever. Lori will walk in front door and be like, nope,
all set.
Yep.
I'm good.
And the realtor's like, well, don't you at least want to see it? Like I said that. She's like, nope.
Yes.
I know. Or we'll walk into a store.
Wasting time.
Yeah.
Wasting time.
And she'll walk in and they're like, oh, nice to meet you. They do the song and dance. And Lori's like, oh, nice to meet you. Okay, nope, I'm good. And I'm like, babe, you can't just say, nice to meet you, I'm good, and turn around and walk out. But she does.
I'm being nice, but I'm also like, we've got one day.
I'm the same way.
To decorate a home.
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
and we're not going to be
every
besties.
second.
So
No.
get it. I was the same way when I was purchasing my house. My mom would go with me and I'd like walk in the front door and I'd be like, I'm good. She's like, Jillian, that's so rude. See the rest of the house. I'm like, I don't need to see the house. I don't want it. I don't like it. I don't like the front. Let's wrap this up and go to the next one.
Don't you feel like you're saving them time too? I mean, they're about to walk me through a whole experience.
We don't want that.
To be like, not for me. Like,
you actually are being kind by being that decisive.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Okay, I love this
next
one.
kind of
What's
buyer?
the next one?
Yeah, so expressive Emily. Emily is all over the place. She is a person that will usually ask you for the link or say I'm all in, and then she literally ghosts you, like you cannot find her. You guys probably have this person right now in your DMs or in your sales calls, and you're like, what is going on? She's so unsure of herself, so she's very unsure of her decisions. So if you have people in your audience right now that are ghosting you or they're not making decisions, I would get really clear on your content and quit calling them things that make them feel more unorganized. So quit using the words like overwhelmed, exhausted, anxious, chaotic, because you know what you're doing? You're calling in anxious, chaotic, overwhelmed people, and those type of people aren't making decisions quick.
Oh God, that's so good. I've actually never thought of that. Okay, so I want to walk down that rabbit hole for a second, because we hear a lot to use the language that your audience is using.
Yeah.
And so is that...
But it's backfiring there.
Yeah.
Right. But is that like you're trying to switch your audience out then if you're like, okay, I don't want this type of customer anymore, even if my audience is telling me that?
Yeah. So for an example, I give my audience an identity. I call them action takers and people who are ready to make the next move. You don't have to ask permission for anybody. You know what you want. So I'm using this type of language in my content all the time.
Oh,
so who do you think I'm attracting?
Your audience. Yeah.
Action takers. People don't have to ask their partner for permission. People that know what they want and they're ready to move. So I'm saying this all the time. What I'm never saying is if you're struggling to make sales, if you're overwhelmed in an uncertain market, because what I want to do is give them the identity of where they want to go, but I'm also giving the identity of who I want them to be in order to make an investment.
That's good.
That is so good.
Damn. All right, let's go. So far we have analytical Anna and we have decisive dominant Lori, even though it's Diane.
I'm going to start saying Lori on my webinars now.
What's the next one?
We had expressive Emily and then amicable Amber. And amicable Amber, she is just the person that just wants to be your friend. She is probably never going to buy. She's just hanging out. But the thing about them that's so good is they will be your super fans. And you need to collect people. I say in business, you need to have clients, collaborators, and cheerleaders. And Amber are going to be your cheerleader. So collect them. Be their friends, get to know them. They might never buy from you, but they're going to be your raving
Huge
fans.
advocates.
Huge advocates. I was just on a podcast recently with Priya Patel. She spoke last year at Powerhouse Women. And she was like, I've never been in your program. I've never joined any of your programs, but I could literally sell it word for word, and I'm obsessed with you. So I don't need her to make a couple $1,000 investment. I mean, it'd be great if she did, but I don't need her to. I need her to tell everybody else.
Yes.
Follow Jillian Murphy. Go over to Jillian Murphy. Listen to her podcast because she is a Amber who's just a super fan. Which I love.
Weird question. Should you hook someone like that up? Hey, here's the program for free, or here I want you in it because they're such an advocate, or is that just a bad move?
I think you can. I think if it's a good fit, then I would. I also think it's a case by case basis. I'm really not big on trades. I'm also not really big on bartering services between entrepreneurs. And I'm really not big on giving people things for free. But I do see where that could work in that place.
Yeah, good advice.
So social media has changed so much in the past year. What is a good strategy for selling right now?
Yeah. So love this question when it comes to selling on social media. So number one is I think for a long time, like B-rolls were such a trend, right? They were such a trend. Everybody was doing them, but you really stick into what I call like the sea of sameness. Like if you're a gut health practitioner and we all see you making your morning smoothie, it's like, yeah, so does every other gut health coach in the market, right? If you're a fitness coach and you're showing us your squats, it's like, yes, so does everybody else. And you have the same text on screen. So I think the number one thing right now that you need to be doing, especially in an uncertain market, is grabbing your phone, turning it around and doing face-to-camera content. Face-to-camera content is going to make you look like an expert. It's going to make you seen. It's going to create authority. And it's also going to stop the scroll. People are also going to decide very quickly from a face-to-camera reel if you're for them or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are like, oh, I like her energy, or I don't. She's a little direct. She's a little funny. People are going to really connect with you in a face-to-camera video that they're not going to connect with you with on a B-roll.
You just did a call because you're one of our incredible coaches in the Mentor Collective Mastermind. You just did a call on this, and I was sitting,
rocked the freaking
call. And I was sitting there listening to that particularly because I'm working a lot on my content right now, our content together as well. And I know that I need to be doing face-to-camera stuff. So it was so much confirmation of that's right. That is why I follow a lot of people, is I want to hear their thoughts. I want to know what they're thinking. I want to know how they talk. I want to hear how their relationship is, you know, with the people in their life, with their partner. Like I want to actually contextually hear how they are in life.
Yeah.
And then something else that, you know, there's some people that I follow who I love face to camera. And I know you know this, but for the listener, like creating a visual hook with every conversation. There's a girl that I follow who I'm obsessed with. And but of course I don't know her handle right now off the bat. I'll put it in show notes, but she constantly has an iced coffee in her hand or is stirring it or putting a straw into it or opening a can of something. With every time that camera turns on, she has a drink in her hand and she's swirling the ice cubes and you can
So is it like a trigger so you know it's her and you stop?
It's literally a trigger for what's about to come, but it's also, it's that sound hook. It's that visual hook. So if you're going to do face to camera, it's so good to have some sort of visual hook. Or there's another one for women. Like there's a girl, it's the same girl. She also
butt to
has
camera. That stops the scroll every time.
Butt to camera. Thumb to camera, everyone. Whale tail out. That one works great. I mean, you'll never be able to sell the men who are watching. The people who
90 fiancés all day long in their inbox.
Exactly. But she's always putting like bronzer with a brush on her arm. Like, and I sit and I watch this stupid bronzer go on every time and listen to what she has to say because of her visual hook.
Yeah. My video content creator, Evan, who's actually here with us today, we actually just did a reel on this. And it was like, put on a pair of sunglasses, put on a watch, put on a ring, stir your coffee, you know, grab somebody's attention, eat your eggs, do those things. And also people are like nosy, and it can also become a conversation starter, right? So a lot of people have difficulty starting conversations in the DMs. Like, what do I talk to people about? Like, well, if Lori is doing a face to camera and she's putting on her jewelry, it's a lot easier for me to reach out to her and be like, hey, can you send me that link? Now we're in an actual relationship in the DMs, and Lori can start asking me about my business. You can start saying like, sure, I see you're an entrepreneur or you're a coach. So those little visual things actually start conversations. I put my outfit on Instagram every day. You guys, it's nothing fancy. I have a baseball hat and usually Jordan's on. It's nothing fancy, but every single day it starts conversations, right? Oh, I like how you tucked your shirt in. Where'd you get those jeans? What Jordans are those? All those things. And then now I'm already in the DMs, so I can start the conversation from there.
Okay,
I love that.
Let's kind of talk about closing in DMs, selling in the DMs, because there's an art to it. And there's two people I put on a pedestal as being the best at doing this. You and Dan Martell.
Thank you.
You two guys just crush in the DMs.
That's a pretty good pedestal.
Yeah, I'm getting excited. Yeah.
And
Dan's amazing. I've gone through his funnel. He's amazing.
Right? Like, and I'll be honest, like, do this in a way that's kind of coaching me because I feel weird or don't know where to start selling in the DMs. How do I start the conversation? Like if someone asks me, I'm fine selling in the DMs.
Yeah.
But how do I even begin this conversation? How do I sell in the DMs? Like, break it all down for us.
Without sending eggplant emojis.
That's how I started.
Like, do you like eggplant? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Totally. So number one, I created a totally free thing for you guys on the podcast. You guys go to dmstarters.com. It's literally 20 ways to break through DM conversations.
Awesome.
If you're like not comfortable and you're just like, I don't want to say like nice shirt or heart somebody's thing, like use this freebie. It's totally easy.
Wait, that's awesome. What is it? dmstarters.com?
Yep. And I made it specifically for the show.
Oh my
Amazing.
God, that's so good. Okay.
Thank you. We're putting it in show notes just so you guys can go check that out.
Yeah. So the first thing that I say is that really selling in the DMs is like a 2-part framework. In the first part of the framework, we're going to go back to content really quick, is your content needs to be clear and concise so that people know exactly what you're doing. If you're not getting people right now reaching out to you in the DMs, people aren't asking to book a call, people aren't asking about your program, it's because they are unclear and they are unsure about what you actually do and that you can solve their problem. So I get this question on every single podcast that I'm on. How have you sold $1 million in the DMs? I don't try to sell in the DMs, but I sell through my content every day. And then your content moves people into the DMs. So the first thing is like, you got to make sure your content is right. And then the second part of this is you're actually building rapport in the DMs with things like, where'd you get your jewelry? Chris, I love your new car. I'm obsessed with your dogs, right? Because now what happens is every time you talk to someone in the DMs, Instagram's algorithm is like, oh, they like each other. We're going to keep showing our content to each other. So I will talk to people over and over and over in the DMs on random stuff that has nothing to do with sales because my content is feeding them on the backside and I'm strong in content.
Wait, I really want to clarify here. So people that you probably earmark as a potential customer, you start warming up that algorithm by having conversational interactions long before you ever sell in the DM.
Way before. I'm never asking somebody
That's
like,
good.
Tell me about your business. I see that you're in a launch. What can I help you with? I see that you're a coach. I am literally having conversations with like, where'd you get your jewelry? I'm also in Sedona. Where did you go paddleboarding recently? And I'm like building true connections. And then my content is being served to them. Now, yes, I'm having conversations with people that I know are ideal clients, right? They're coaches, they're consultants, or service-based providers. Their business is a disaster. Their Instagram's hacked. So I know that they need me, but I'm not going in as they need me. And then my content is going to keep being served up to them over and over. And they're like, you know what? I really like Jillian Murphy. We're like driving in the DM. She's actually someone who I would hang out with, go on a kayak with, brunch. And I have this problem. She's now the only and obvious choice that I would hire.
Damn, that's good. Okay, give us some more do's and don'ts of selling in the DMs.
Yeah. So the number one thing when it comes to DMs is most people are giving off what I call like golden retriever energy. I know you guys got dogs. We had this happen when I walked in today. So imagine like you go into the DMs and all of a sudden someone is like jumping on top of you and licking your face and they're just like all over and people are like, whoa.
That's literally
calm
what our dogs
down.
did.
Literally, that's what happened when I walked in today. It's amazing. Bonkers energy. We're going to call it that. We're going to change the webinar to Lori and bonkers energy. So if you're doing that right now, you need to like slow down, right? If somebody's like, hey, can you tell me about your program? Don't like word vomit 87 things. Ask them more questions. Learn about their business. So I think the first thing is like slow your roll down. Number two, when it comes to the DMs, and I love this, I actually learned this from Dan Martell, so shout out to him, is don't answer right away because you look needy. You look like you're like waiting for a sale. If somebody messages me and they're like, hey, Jillian, can you tell me a little bit about working with you? I'll heart it. And then tomorrow I'll go back and be like, hey, Lori, I saw that you messaged me in the DMs. I'd love to talk about working together. Sorry, I was tied up yesterday on client calls. But if every single time someone DMs you, you're like, oh my God, let me tell you about my program. Let me tell you about what I have. Number one, I'm thinking like, why aren't they busy? Why aren't they actually on calls right now? And number two, they really need this sale.
You don't like sales calls.
I don't do them.
So talk us through that because some people would say, oh, it's logical. Warm it up in DMs, move them to the phone, close them there.
Yeah.
You'll never do a
A
sales
lot of
call.
people
I've done
teach
6
that.
sales calls in 4 years.
Like if someone asks you, you try to keep.
Yeah, and I'll
Okay,
just say,
let's
like,
talk about
if someone's like, hey, can I get on a sales call? I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm totally open to do that. But why don't we chat here first in voice memo and work through everything that you have going? And then at the end of that, if you still feel you need to get on a call, you absolutely can.
Oh, that's good.
You
That's
guys,
a good way
this-
to handle that.
This goes back to content, right? There's nothing that I'm going to say or do on a sales call that people aren't getting from me already. They know my personality. They know I'm direct. They know everything about me. They know what I solve, all those things. So usually when someone has to get on a call, they're unsure and they're unclear. So the more clear and concise you can be, people are like, yeah, I know this person helps with gut health, relationships, sex, marriage, whatever it is. And then now they're the go-to person for that thing.
So the more clear you can be in your actual front facing content.
Yeah.
Who, before you dive more into DM selling, like what types of things is DM selling for? Who is it for? Who
Yeah.
can all use it?
Yeah. So I have used it with every niche, every single business. And I've had clients sell up to $56,000 in the DMs. I've had people sell $10,000 in the DMs, $20,000. So I want to be also very clear. When I talk about DM selling, we're not talking about a digital product. We're not talking about like a $97 offer. We are talking, I don't like to use the word high ticket, but we are talking high ticket in the DMs. It's also important to know that high ticket buyers essentially do not want to get on a call. If you guys rewind to this podcast, Lori said earlier, I'm never getting on a call with someone.
Yeah, you're right.
I am never getting on a call with someone. If I could literally text my therapist, I would do that. I don't want to get on a call with her. Like, I don't want to get on a call with anyone.
Yeah.
So it's like, we don't have time. We're busy. And then the third part of this is when people reach out to you, there's a thing that's happening, which is called leaky faucet or a bursting pipe. So let's just say I'm going to use a real life example. So about 6 weeks ago, I went into my closet, put on a pair of jeans. They didn't fit. Spiraling out of control. I'm like, oh my God, I got to lose all this weight. My life is ending, all these things. So what do? I type in weight loss coach, Arizona. This guy comes up. I send him a message. I'm like, hey, what is it like to work with you? And he's like, hey, let me send you a YouTube video. So he sends me a YouTube video on his program. The next day, he's like, did you watch the YouTube video? I'm like, I didn't have time to watch the YouTube video. He's like, hey, do you want to get a call and talk about my program? I'm like, I don't really want to get on a call. Can you just tell me what it's like to work with you? He then sends me a PDF. You guys, this guy charges $10,000. And that day that I was spiraling out of control, I had a bursting pipe. I would have spent $1 million to figure out why my jeans weren't fitting. But guess what? 2 days later, I went to the bathroom, did a little detox. The jeans are fine now. It's not that big of a deal. So now I'm just in like a leaky faucet. Like, I kind of want to lose a few pounds, but it's not like my life is ending. So you need to get people in their bursting pipe moment. If they reach out to you and they're like, hey, I'm really struggling with gut health. And you're like, hey, how's next Thursday at 2:00? Do you know how much shit's going to come up before next Thursday at 2:00?
The urgency is gone.
It's gone. It's literally gone.
Exactly.
By the way, I just realized how you describe like closing high ticket things in the DMs. Cho, the founder of Vintage Broncos, is literally closing me in the DMs.
This is not
I'm watching him just work.
Are you going to get that vintage Bronco?
Good thing I know the pass.
$300,000 Bronco in the DMs.
I know the
So it
passcode
works.
to
It
your
works.
phone,
So
so
it
we're
works.
just gonna go delete those
Shout out to
conversations.
Cho, buddy. Just close me. Just close me now.
No.
Yeah, he wants to buy. He's a dominant
Close
buyer.
me.
Yeah.
Okay, so
No, Cho.
let's move to closing. How do you know when it's time to close? What do you say, etc.?
So before I actually ever give anybody like details of my program or tell them about what it is to work with me, I always set it up and I ask this question. Does this sound like this would be beneficial for you? Because you have to get them to buy in, right? Once I hear them say, yes, I need this. Yes, I'm struggling with this. Yes, this would be so helpful. Yes, 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 yes. Now they've sold themselves. Because you need to remember one thing. People buy because they believe they have a problem. They don't buy because they believe you are selling the solution. So they need to believe that they have a problem. So you got to ask the right questions. That's like, hey, are you following a sales plan? Do you have anybody keeping you accountable with your meals? What are you and your husband doing for date night? Would these things be helpful? And once someone says yes, they've 100% closed themselves. And then I always say this, like after someone says yes, I'll say amazing, because I only work with people that are committed and are action takers. So let's go. So now I've just given him an identity of being an action taker and committed because I need him to take action and be committed to the link I'm about to drop.
What are the most popular objections that people hear when they go to close, and how do you overcome them?
Yeah. So, I mean, most people get the objection like, I can't afford it, right? Or I have to talk to my partner. Like those are two of the biggest ones. But remembering that like objections are never the objection. There's always something else deeper and you have to dial into that, right? So if somebody says, you know, hey, I can't afford it right now, I usually say something like, hey, I understand that. And I'm not here to like talk about your finances, but also let's talk about what is this costing you in your life? How is this showing up? How is it costing you your relationship, your family, all those things, right? So let's just go back to the fitness guy. If he would have asked me that question that day, I would have been like, well, you know what? It ruined my entire day. It ruined my entire weekend. So I'm willing to solve this problem today. So you have to ask better questions. And then when people usually say, I have to talk to my partner, one of the best things you can say when someone has said, I have to talk to my partner is your husband or wife, I always say partner because we're in, new times, guys. So say partner, a little sales tip for you. Does your partner aware of what the struggle is? Yes, he's super aware of it. He knows that I'm crying in my closet. I want to lose the belly fat. I'm in perimenopause. I can't grow my business, whatever it is. And then you say, do you think he wouldn't be supportive of you making a decision and taking action?
Whoa.
So that's what they're going to say, right? And then they're going to say, yeah, I think they'd probably be supportive. And then I usually say this, wouldn't it feel good to go to him and tell him that you found a solution and you're going to stop complaining versus going back and asking for more permission and being in the same rabbit hole?
That is way more elegant than me.
You heard it here first. Is your partner an unsupportive asshole?
Yes. Well, are you? Or are you going to let me buy that Bronco?
Are you or not? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Joe's getting the Bronco.
Okay.
Do you want an empowered husband that made a empowering decision on his own? Or are you going to be that bitch?
I can't feed in. I
Literally
can't
dead
feed
right
into
now.
this.
Because you're
Literally.
trapped. Because you're trapped.
Okay, so I want to know for everyone's expectation, because with sales, there's so many people. I was just reading a bunch of stats on it, and it says, I think it's 80% of people stop after they get the first rejection. It's like over 80% of people stop.
It's literally wild. You guys, when you get your first objection, I always say, like, let's freaking go. This is when like the party starts. Like, this is when you get to really dive in, see why they're saying no, all of those things. And you have to remember, this is like the thing that I tell myself every single time. When someone is saying no to my programs, my products, and my services, they are saying no to making more money. They are saying no to growing their business. They are saying no to clarity. They are never saying no to Jillian Murphy. They are saying no to themselves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and serve these people who are ready, because that person does not want to grow. So I never take it personal.
That's really good. Okay. Anything else in the DMs before we switch modes here?
I think the DMs we covered the DMs pretty good. Yeah.
Okay. So here's what I want to do. I want to take these frameworks you talked about. And I want to apply it to a real life client.
Amazing.
So you don't have to name names.
Sure.
But would you walk us through play by play how a client came to you with a problem or like, what their challenge was, and what you guys did play by play and what the results were?
Yeah, I'm actually going to share two of them. So the first one, because one's in the DMs and one's actually on sales call, so it'll be beneficial for your audience. So the first one was somebody who was actually in the elite level mastermind with me last year, and she was so burnt out because she was doing a ton of sales calls. She was selling about an $8,000 offer. You guys, she already had like a 7-figure business. So she was a rock star selling. But what she was missing out on, what she told me, was like time with her kiddos. She was like, I'm on all these calls. I'm sitting on all these calls. I became an entrepreneur. I'm sitting in my beautiful office, but yet I'm missing out on life. And I said to her, what if you were able to close sales while you're walking on the beach, while you're in the bathtub at night, while you're in the school pickup line? You never had to get on a Zoom call again. And she was very hesitant to it because she didn't believe she could do it because she had done this for so long. She was also spending close to $50,000 to $70,000 a month in ads, right?
My God.
So a ton of money in ads, and they weren't converting at that time. So the number one thing we did was we cleaned up her content, because she had a lot of like influencer content, right? She was like pretty and putting out all the stuff and like her kids and her husband, but like, what do you actually solve?
Right.
Like, let's be so clear that when you come to this person, this is the result that you're going to get. So we instantly cleaned up her content. From there, people started to come in to her DMs and say like, hey, I see that you have this going on. I see that you have this offer. So what she would say is, yes, let's talk about this through the DMs. So right now, if you're getting on sales calls, it's because you are telling your audience that you do sales calls, right? I never say to my audience, let's get on a call. I say to my audience, my DMs are open. Let's have a conversation. Let's begin right here. So if you want to stop doing sales calls, decide today and never offer them again. And it's just not an option in your business. So she shut sales calls off for 30 days. We went through her framework. I gave her some language of what to use. Again, she was already really personable. She was already good in sales. So we started moving people to her DMs, and she closed $108,000 cash, not contracted, cash in her DMs in about 32 days of working together.
Wow.
Let's use that example for 1 minute, because I know you said you have a second one. You've been in our elite level mastermind for, is it 4 years now?
4 years, yeah.
4 years. So you know what the program's like. You know the cost of the program.
Yeah.
Like for context for anyone listening, it's call it 40 to 50 grand. Could I really sell that without getting on sales calls? Because every year there's a 2-month span of my life that is chaos, because I do all the sales calls and then I do all of those strategy sessions with the people that say yes.
It blows my mind that you do those sales calls.
Well, it blows my mind
because
too.
I see them and I'm like, I don't even think that these people probably even want to get on calls, but Chris is offering them. So it's like, what if you just said like, hey, this is the information. And this is the other thing too. Sales pages for low ticket offers need to sell at 100%. Sell at 100%. But when you have like a higher ticket item, it's actually less information to get them into the DMs to start asking questions and then going to a voice note. I bet you could sell every single spot in that mastermind next year through the DMs without ever getting a sales call and just doing voice memos.
I would give anything.
Okay,
I'm going to challenge you.
Yeah.
I'm going to challenge it.
We're going to work on that off.
Because my biggest limiting belief is that to make that decision, somebody needs to get on and see my charisma and let me problem solve a couple things for them.
I didn't get on a sales call with you.
Interesting.
I mean,
yeah.
I didn't get on a sales call with Lewis, I don't think.
Yeah, I didn't get on
or
a sales
short
call.
one, maybe.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah. I didn't get on a sales call for Fast Foundations. I didn't get on a sales call for the Elite.
So it's really just a big limiting belief.
Totally. We're going to bust it.
Interesting. All right, all of you listening, they're going to join Elite. Get in my DMs.
Yeah.
I'm not getting on the phone.
And you guys, it's literally the best program ever. So get your life together.
Oh my
Get
God,
in
you're
there.
the
It's
best.
life changing.
It is.
It is life changing. So hopefully we can figure that out for you so you can spend more time for the people in it instead of, selling it.
Yeah.
So let's go to your second example.
Yeah.
Of a
So the
client.
second example was also somebody who was in the elite level mastermind. So I also want to preface this too. A lot of people think that they can't help people that are farther along than them. I want to be very clear. Both of these clients that hired me were making more money than me, had businesses that were way more put together than me. Like my business probably looks like a shit show compared to theirs, but I had a skill that they needed. So it's also a limiting belief that like, hey, I can only help entrepreneurs to 6 figures if you've made 6 figures. I can only help businesses that are at $1 million if you've made $1 million. A ton of my clients, you guys, make more money than me, but I have a skill set that they want. So this particular client example, she had about a $30,000 item. So she thought that she had to be getting on sales calls, and she really loves sales calls. Her energy is beautiful and she's magnetic and she loves sales calls. But what was happening is every single sales call, they weren't buying. And I can usually always tell that there's a pattern once I go in and audit it. So something that I do for clients is I'll go in and I'll watch their sales calls. She sent me 7 sales calls. It took me 3 sales calls to be like 100%, this is the problem and we need to fix it. So I gave her, because she did want scripts, I gave her a little bit more of a script, a little bit more of a framework that she could follow because she's a little bit more all over the place. So I gave her some more structure. 7 days after working, she closed a $30,000 sale. Now she did it on a sales call, but it was so much more clean. It was so much more clear. And there wasn't all this back and forth follow-up. She was so clear and concise of exactly what she delivered. And you guys, usually it's the language that you're working. If you're using things like, I'm going to magically transform you, or I'm going to take you into your next level. Like people have no idea what that means. You got to be so clear, especially for like 30 or 40, 50 grand. Like, what does that actually mean?
Yeah.
That's true.
Like I'm going to help you get organized in a week, or like very specific information. Yeah. So even like for this client specifically, we got really clear of like what her clients were saying, because I was watching them on the sales calls. And then even her content got so much more clear, because instead of saying like, hey, I'm going to help you up level your style, or I'm going to help you, become your next level, you and your style. It was like, are you a sausage right now in your jeans because you're buying clothes that don't fit? Because you think when you buy clothes that fit, it actually makes you look skinnier, but let me actually fix the problem. Like she got so specific, and her content is so much more clear and a little more direct. So people are like, yes, this is me.
I thought you said, is that a sausage in your jeans? I was like, what are you selling? Like, what is this client?
Like, she's selling tight underwear.
Yeah, apparently. Or Enhance, it has like a built-in package to make up for the package you don't have.
Obsessed.
I mean, that's your next business.
I'm here for it.
Sausage underwear.
I'm here for it. Let's go crazy on TikTok. And we're going to make a TikTok reel later on that.
If people are hearing this and they're like, okay, how do I become a client, or what type of clients does she take? Because I'm hearing all these $40,000, $50,000 stories.
Yeah.
Who are your ideal clients?
Yeah. So I love this question. I work with any entrepreneur. If you are like a 9-to-5er who has an idea and you want to get going, we're going to work together and we're going to get going. We're going to build the foundation of your business. The main things that I work with people on, because it's funny because people hire me for sales, but it's interesting. Like 90% of what I do is actually not sales. It's your messaging.
Yep.
It's your marketing. It's your offers. It's your pricing. We're going to clean up so much. And I love to work with beginners because I'm going to help them before they get into the muck. So that's like client number 1. Client number 2 that I love working with is like they already have a product. It's already selling. Maybe they're making 10K months, 20K months, 50K months, whatever. But now we want to pour gasoline on that. And how can we take that to the next level? Usually there's something in your sales process. And then the third are like brick and mortars, right? Service-based providers that I work with. So like gyms, construction companies, aesthetics, med spas, that they need someone to come in and actually work with their entire team and help them get products in people's bags or book more appointments. So things like that is kind of like the third client that I work with.
You said something I want to make sure people caught in there. You're not necessarily teaching them, here's what you say to sell.
No.
I mean, I'm sure that's part of it. You were saying you set up their environment to encourage more sales.
Yes.
Going all the way back to when you gave the example of you're not selling because people aren't seeing what you have to offer in your regular content. So you got to start that sales. You got to set people up to be a buyer long before you ever think about actually selling.
Yeah. So for an example, people will come to me, and this is the one I get all the time, is like, hey, I'm currently in a launch right now and nobody's buying. What do I do?
Too late.
Okay, well, let's go back. You have no ideal buyers. You haven't warmed them up. You haven't had a conversion event. I have no idea what your content is because you have like a Bible verse and a cat and a B-roll. So like nothing is making sense. And then you're wondering why like no one's coming into your launch. Like There's so many things that actually have to happen. And organic lead generation is one of the things that I think everybody needs to be doing, because if you have enough conversations, you're going to have enough conversions. I'm talking to hundreds of people a week, you guys, hundreds. So if you're talking to 2 or 3 or 10, you got to pour fire on that pipeline.
That's a good wake-up call. How has AI changed sales, or how is it changing sales?
Yeah, so this is a really great question, and I get this question a lot. We actually don't really use AI in our business at all. I'm sure my team uses it in the back of the house, but we personally don't use it. I'm not using it for like any automations. I'm not using it to create like a bot yet. I think it's also very cool though. I think it could definitely be like an Ask Jillian Anything kind of bot. So I think that there's stuff coming for sure. But in my specific business, we're actually not using much of AI yet. But I will tell you, I love your guys' clones. I ask Lori all kinds of questions.
Oh, really?
I do, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I ask
I
all
hope
kinds of-
I'm giving you good advice.
Yeah, you do.
Okay,
and it also was like so real. Like it literally feels like I'm like talking to. I asked the podcast question recently, and it was like, yeah, me and my bestie Lindsay, and I'm like, yeah, this is like so cute.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I can see how AI could be so incredibly awesome for you though,
Yeah.
because as people are going through the process, it would be so cool for me to be able to go, Jillian, look at my content. Like, here's what I have out.
Oh,
Where
like
would
the
you
clone.
tweak it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I can think about, because I'm like, well, I would love to have you in my pocket right now as I'm literally trying to figure out all of my content. So
Yeah.
That's interesting. Somebody could literally be like, okay, Jillian, the clone, like, I have this mastermind to sell. Let's start from the top. What should I be doing? How should I charge? What should I be saying? Can you write me a script? And your clone would like do all that.
Yeah. I'll
saying
get
That would be
Paul on that.
super cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
But for now,
But for-
Jillian does this in real life.
Yeah.
With your program. So tell us what that looks like as well. like
Yeah.
fully.
So I have a program. I've been selling it for about 2 years. It's called Infinity. I'm literally obsessed with it.
It's really good, by the way.
Thank you. Chris has been a speaker at it a few times, and it really is getting down to like the main core things of business. What I was seeing in my industry specifically is people were joining lots of courses, lots of masterminds, lots of retreats, whatever, but sales was never being taught. So they were coming to me with great sales pages, great landing pages, great funnels, great webinars, all these things, but they didn't know how to actually get people to pull out their credit cards. So what I really do in this program, I say like, I actually don't teach a lot. I actually unteach a lot of like what you've been doing that probably isn't correct. And then I'm going to actually be like hands-on in your business. It's also a really great community where you can like, you know, do market research or you can get clients out of it. It's also open for both men and women. You know, we have people in there that have never had a client. We have people in there that have crossed the 7-figure mark. And it's really the same problems that they all have.
It's a great group. Do you have a favorite success story out of there?
Yeah, so I actually have a really great success story. I had this guy, Dustin. I can share Dustin's name. So I had this guy, Dustin, that came to me. And he was actually the first client that ever came to me that I had no idea what he did. Like, he told me what he did, and I was like, I actually don't know what that is. So he sold hounds gear for houndsmen.
Wait, what's
Oh,
hounds gear for
interesting.
houndsmen?
Like
So,
hunters?
Like
the dogs?
like the dogs that hunt the houndsmen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he sold the gear for them. So like GPSs, trackers, leashes, collars, and I guess it's like a really big business. And I actually use him as a case study inside of my webinar. And he had been in business for 4 years, and the most he had ever made was $18,000 in 1 year. He came to me and I was like, where do you think your audience is at? Where do you consume hounds content?
The kennel.
And he was like, TikTok. So we put all of his stuff from Instagram onto TikTok. He basically blew up overnight, like close to 70,000 people overnight. His second month of working with me, he hit $22,000. And I want to remind you guys, he's selling like a product that's a couple $100s.
Wow.
So think about the volume that he had to sell. And then exactly what Lori said was he started to get into the market. He started to go to these conventions. He started to go to like stores. He started to go to like all these things and get in person. And his business has absolutely blown up. Like, it's incredible.
That's awesome. But by the way, you mentioned TikTok. Is it better to sell on TikTok or Instagram right now?
Oh my God. I hate TikTok right now, but I'm on it. I actually just did a reel on this, but I also think like when you move to a new platform, it almost humbles you to be a beginner again.
Oh my
right?
God,
So
it's
I'm on
so
TikTok,
hard.
you guys. I have
Yeah.
200 followers. Nobody's paying attention to my stuff.
Same.
And I'm like, why am I even on here? I can go to Instagram and talk to all my friends. But it reminds me of what my clients are going through right now.
Yeah.
That's good.
And it really kind of humbles me to like, okay, what would I tell them to keep doing? Keep going. People are listening. You don't even know that they're there yet. So that's the thing. I do believe that TikTok is a growth platform and Instagram is a nurture platform. So anyone that you're getting on TikTok, they're most likely not going to be buying, but they're going to be consuming. So the best thing you can do is take them from TikTok over to Instagram, because Instagram is more of a nurture platform, not a growth platform.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, we covered everything.
Such a great show.
This is insane. But I actually want to take this time to give you some recognition. I have watched you come so incredibly far from the person that left corporate America and said, fuck it, I'm just going to teach people how to sell on my own and ramp up so quickly and do it. I know you're probably scared behind the scenes, but do it with such courage and such tenacity and such ambition and zero excuses. And I've watched you transform into this absolute dangerous ninja now. That is so cool to see. And I want people to understand it's because you do the work.
She does the work.
Like what people don't understand is you're doing 300 webinars you're committed to this year
300 webinars.
to become an expert at selling in webinars. That level of commitment, most people would never even think to commit to. They would just say, oh, I'm going to try it a few times. Oh, it didn't work out.
And it's grueling, you guys. It's grueling.
It's grueling. And you are willing to step up and take the reps and take the punches over and over and over again. And it's why now you've got this incredibly successful brand and business and everything else. And so if anybody out there is wondering, like, can you really leave corporate America or can you really leave what you're doing right now and follow your dream or create a brand out of the blue and make 7 figures and do all this stuff? The answer is hell yes. And you're the one that's showing them how to do it.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I really do. And I just want to say too, like, I've done it so simple. You guys, I don't have a website. People are blown away by that. I don't have sales pages. I don't have fancy funnels. I have one team member that works his ass off. Like, you don't need a lot of things. You need 3 things. You need people to talk to, a way to convert them, and a way to close them. And that's all I do every single day. My business is not here to entertain me. I'm not here to like do shiny object syndrome. It's like, I'm going to put my head down and get to work. And that's why it's there. And I also just want to say too, like, I remember when I first met you guys, I was like, you know, one day I had this list. It was like, I have 3 podcast lists, easy, dream, and hard. And Lori's podcast was a dream podcast to be on. So if you're listening to this right now, know that like, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, right? It took time. I had to become someone different. I would have never been able to hold the level of conversation today that I had 2 years ago or even 3 years ago. So know that everything is happening in the right time, your growth, your expansion, and all of your opportunities.
Oh, what a cool moment.
I love that. I love hearing that because, you know, right now in this moment, I'm sitting here thinking, wow, this podcast is going to fucking crush.
Thank you.
And like, I could have had you on earlier and I'm sure it would have been a good podcast. But if we just waited a little longer, it'll be something that everyone is sharing. And it's like, it's first impressions matter.
Totally.
And so, you know, there's reasons Chris and I have not been invited on certain podcasts. Like, we're not there yet, or we're not clear on what we're offering. Like, there's low hanging fruit that you guys are listening to right now. And I think all of us know in our gut what that is, just like you probably knew before. Like, okay, I need to be, you know, putting in more reps. Okay, I need to be a lot more clear on my messaging. Okay, I really need to be that person who delivers on this. And so if you guys are listening, you just listen to Jillian and how concise she was and how she could answer every question like that and how she truly is a master in sales. When you get to that level, that's when you know those opportunities, they're literally just going to come to you because you're going to stand out. Like, no matter what, if you would have asked or not, I don't even know how it was all set up. We may have reached out to you. Like, people will start even reaching out to you because you're going to be so noticeable.
Thank you.
In the industry.
Thank you. Chris gave me a great compliment one time. He was like, you've just become unignorable. And you guys like, and you guys, that's what it takes. Like, just be so good at what you do, put your head down, and people will notice. People are watching you right now. You don't even realize it.
What a great piece of advice. Like, become unignorable. Do whatever the hell it takes so that people can't ignore you.
Yeah, people can ignore them doing 300 webinars right now. Like, my peers are coming to them. They're watching them. They're like watching the race. It's like, I'm unignorable in the journey in which I'm on. So it's really great to follow.
Damn, you're a superstar. Okay,
thank you guys so much for having me.
Mike, can you just throw that mic down on
it across the room?
It's like on a pedestal, but if she could like Axl Rose it onto the ground for me.
On Bonkers and Bananas?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you're a superstar.
Thank you.
And we just absolutely love that you've become a great friend. And I love watching you thrive.
I love your fashion.
Thank you.
Upgrades.
Love your fashion.
This is amazing.
And just thank you for being in our lives.
Thank you so much. I appreciate both of you.
All right, you guys, we're so grateful for you. And until next time, earn your happy and also tune into the Chris Harder Show.
Every day.
Yeah,
also check out that Chris show too.
Yeah, that guy over here is fine.
Thanks for listening. And if you loved this episode and know of someone else who is as successful as they are generous, please pass them on to me. It would mean the world to me if you help me get this cause and this message out to as many listeners as I can. So please, if you liked what you heard, it goes a long way if you take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review and share this with your friends. I'll be forever grateful. And until the next episode, cheers to your success.